everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Battle report number 83. This is a 5,000 point battle. 'Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Khans versus Cannon of Doom from the Empire of Stonstal. Yep, that's right. He went home, he made a new list, he came back, and we fought yet again. I use the same list because I'm lazy. No, actually, I just really like this particular list, and I didn't see anything I wanted to change. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and like I said, there's been no change, so if you watch the last battle report, this should seem pretty familiar. I have my Mammoth Hunter, Shyhammer. He's now my general. He's got an Ogre Crossbow, the Flaming Lance, the Lucky Shield, the Obsidian Rock, the Charm of Cursed Iron, the Wild Heart Big Name, and he's on the massive Rock Warhammer. Yeah, I kind of like the fact that he's my general now. It's pretty cool. Here's my second Mammoth Hunter. He's got an Ogre Crossbow, he's my BSB, he's got the Heart Ripper, Yeti Furs, and Troll Eater. It's a perfect kit. Now he's just a Manhunter. Or a Mammoth Hunter. Duh. I do love this model. Still have my Shaman Skaz. He's got 4 learned spells, he's using the Dragonfire Gem, and he's got the Path of Thaumaturgy. Simple, yet deadly. Almost like a fart. And then I have the original Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got an Ogre Crossbow, the Obsidian Blade, the Armor of Fortune, he's got the Headhunter Big Name, and he's on the trustiest of trusty Tuskers, the War Teddy. Oh yeah. Starting off my core choices, I got a unit of 10 Tribesmen, the good old boys. They've got Banner Musician, Iron Fists, and the Banner of Discipline. I have 2 separate units of 15 Scraplings, the Randos and the Scrap Pack, excuse me. Both have musicians and bows. For my special choices, well, starting them off anyway, I have a unit of 5 Yeti with a champion, and this unit I did not give enough credit. They're terrifying. I've got my Saber-Tooth Tiger, Bow Wowzer. Here are my 6 Scrapling Trappers, the favored pets. And then I've got my unit of 3 Tusker Cav, the Fat and the Furious, with Banner, Great Weapons, and War Standard. In the Powder Keg category, I've got my Scratapult, or as I'm getting ready to start calling him, the Misfire-Apult. And in the Chain Beast category, weighing in at a lot of pounds, I bring you my Slave Giant. And then the keystone to my army, my Frost Mammoth, Rufus! There's a couple of Ogre Crossbows he threw on his howdah there, but he's the star of the show. Love this monster. Absolutely love him. But that's going to do it for my list. I'm going to post my opponent's list, play some music. Feel free to pause it whenever you like to see what he took. My spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. Like I said, I'm using the Thaumaturgy again, and it feels right. And here's deployment. My opponent set up first, so I reacted to him, and I placed my stuff directly across from his. I've got my Tusker Cav, my Rock, and Lord Tremendous on the left flank to deal with his Knights and his Fast Cav stuff. He's got a skirmishing unit in the ruins on the left flank there, which is fine. Lord Tremendous is going to deal with them. Or my Rock, one of the two. The Tusker Cav, I'm hoping you're going to hit the Knights. I've got my Scratapult and the Scraplings on the hill just to try to shoot at them, do some damage before I have to see them in combat. I've got the Yetis in the middle there. The hope is that I get them into the forest, or I get something in the forest that I can slam in there and make it so that it is not steadfast. That would be wonderful. Rufus is right next to them and the good old boys so that they get all their attacks. Skaz is looking at Rufus's ass because that's the safest place to be. And on the right flank, I've got my other unit of scraplings, I've got my slave giant, and I've got my trappers. Their job are to come around the right flank and deal with anything that presents itself as a target opportunity. That's it for for deployment. Here's top of one after movement, and like I said, my opponent got to go first, and he just kind of comes forward gently. Left flank, his knights move up a little bit, the skirmishers and the ruins move up a little bit, stuff in the middle moves up just slightly, stuff on the right flank for the most part stays right where it's at, and his rioters come up to taunt the Tusker Cav, which is fine, I'll happily take that bait, and that's really it for movement. Nothing happens during magic worth reporting, so in the shooting phase, he takes some pot shots with his riders at my Tusker Cav and slip a wound through, blowing the elbow out of one of my guys. That's okay, they've got to back up. And over here, I can't remember if it's the handgunners or the volley gun. Probably the handgunners, because he gave them the order to give them 6 inches more on their range. So I'm going to say it was the handgunners shot at the good old boys and killed one flat out, doing 3 wounds. So not a completely wasted shooting phase for my opponent. Here's bottom of one after movement, and I come forward. My, my Tusker Cav take the bait from the rioters, charge them. I think they take another wound for their trouble, but they slam into them, which is nice. Shy Hammer, the Twin Hammers, they pass their frenzy check and don't have to charge, I don't think, so they come up on the hill just slightly. I want him into the Knights now. I think that would be glorious. I put Bow Wowser in between the Knights and the Tusker Cav just to make the Knights' job a little bit more difficult. I put Lord Tremendous all the way up on the left flank there, daring the skirmishers to charge him or shoot at him. Either way, I think he's going to be fine, and he'll deal with them next turn. Everything in the middle comes up. His infantry didn't move, so mine did. I'm not too worried about them getting shots off at me. Getting the charge off on me. I know he's going to shoot at the good old boys because that's smart, and that's fine. They can take the damage. Meanwhile, on the right flank there, my trappers are moving around to go after the volley gun. The scraplings came over the wall to shoot at whatever they can, and the giants started moving up to slam into either unit of infantry on the right flank, whichever one presents itself first, and that's it for movement. There's a better picture of my Tusker Cav slamming into the riders, and that's going to be good. Nothing happens in the magic phase, just couldn't get anything off, so we go into shooting, and my scraplings are able to take out a couple of swordsmen, I think, in that unit, maybe 1 or 2, but hey, better than 0. I'll take whatever I can get. And then Rufus takes a couple of pot shots at those bastard handgunners and he's able to kill 2. 1-shot hits, and it skewers 2 of them, even at low strength. I was very pleased. Rufus's little piggyback guys must have been at the shooting range this week. Good for them. We go into combat, and yeah, I think impact hits alone were enough to kill the rioters. There's nothing better than turn 1 close combat, even if it is one-sided, but that's pretty much what happens. My Tusker Cav just pulverized the entire unit, and I stay right there. There's no reason to move or anything like that, and I'm pleased with my situation. So yeah, that's the end of the combat. With that over, here's top of 2 after movement, and my opponents come forward. Now, I don't recall what charges the... Oh, yes, I do. The unit of Imperial Guard or something like that. They charge the Tusker Cav. I don't want that, so I flee. Then he redirects into the Yetis, and he makes it, which shocked and disappointed me. His knights then charge Bow Wowser, and Bow Wowser stands. He accepts his fate, and they make it, and that's great because next turn my Rock's in beautiful position to go after him. His skirmishers in the ruins come out. They did not charge Lord Tremendous. They decided to try to shoot him to death, which, well, you'll see what happens there. And on the right flank, all of his infantry more or less stay put. They're not going anywhere, which is fine. I will let him shoot at the, the good old boys the entire game because he's got 27 more wounds he's got to do to him, and I don't have to worry about panicking because they're not going to run off the table. He's going to either kill him to a man with shooting, or they're going to hold that whole right flank by themselves. Instead, the trappers and the slave giant will run around the side and try to capitalize on their foolishness. Other than that, that's it for movement. There's a better picture of his great swords, Imperial Guard guys slamming into my Yetis and chasing off my Tusker Cav. I just didn't want that charge hitting my Tusker Cav, and I figured if he made it into the Yetis, he made it into the Yetis. I couldn't flee with them because they'd have bounced through the Scraplings and the Scratapult and died, or right off the table, probably taking them with him. But I figured if he made the charge, great, and if not, he was in a perfect position for me to capitalize on it. Unfortunately, he made the charge. Good on my opponent. And there's another better picture of his knight slamming into Bow Wowzer, and that was the plan all along. Once again, there's really nothing that happens in Magic, so we go into shooting, and I believe it's his volley gun shoots at the good old boys and does 1 wound, which, honestly, I got lucky as hell there. My luck doesn't last, however, because the handgunners open up on them and kill 2 of them, doing 5 wounds, maybe 6. Yeah. So where the volley gun failed, the handgunners really picked up the slack. But again, it's still, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 wounds he's got to do before that unit's pulverized. It's worth it. I think I've got a good strategy here. We'll see. We go into combat, and it's insane. Okay, first of all, my opponent rolls garbage. I've never seen so many 1s and 2s in my entire wargaming career, alright? And I've rolled with some pretty garbage dice. So my opponent rolls garbage. I roll platinum laced in diamonds wrapped in gold. As you can see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, and a character. Die! Alright, there's another character in there. I think his general's in there. I'm not 100%. In return, I lose 2 Yeti and 1 is carrying a wound. So he doesn't do terrible, but yeah, I win this combat. He's stubborn and he makes it, but oh my god. Like I said, he rolled like garbage and I rolled out of the box, but that was an epic combat. I was giddy. In this combat over here, however, poor Bow Wowzer dies. But before he goes, he rips the throat out of a horse, killing one of the knights. Oh, I am rolling out of the box. What can I tell you? I'm very proud of my army right now. With that, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and as you can see, I'm trying. Rock, the hammers make it into the knights, which makes me very excited because I just got the charge with the hammers. Are you kidding? That's what I live for. Lord Tremendous makes it into the skirmishers, which I think we both knew was going to happen. Rufus did try to charge his engine, I believe, and it ran away and got away, and that's fine. Rufus didn't have to go too far away. It would have been great if he had made it in there, but since he didn't, whatever, what can you do? The Slave Giant, I start making my way up that way. I want his support unit to charge my Slave Giant, because I'm pretty sure I can take it. The Trappers make it back around the thing, and since my Scraplings were just slightly out of range, they move up a little bit on the right flank there so they can shoot at some stuff. Scrapling, or Scratapult and Scraplings on the hill stay still, and the Tusker Cav rally. That is it for movement. There's a better picture of Lord Tremendous slamming into those skirmishers and my Rock slamming into the knights. That is a fight I'm really looking to going after. And there's a better picture of Rufus scaring away his engine, which is a shame. During the magic phase, I got it off, Wrath of God, and I put it right in front of the handgunners. Not because I want them to move, not because I'm thinking, a turn ahead. It's because I want to kill as many of those SOBs as I possibly can. And even if they march, they can't get away from it. Love the Wrath of God. Then, with the utmost contempt, I do a Hand of Heaven on the handgunners, and 2 of them get yanked into the celestial realm. And, yay! And just to ensure that I do maximum potential damage to the knights, I get Cleansing Fire off on Shyhammer, and I'm excited about that because it was Strength 5, which should take out some of these knights. Thaumaturgy is definitely a fun path to have on your ogres, to say the least. Unfortunately, as it is with most things, I end up overwhelming powering it, and I misfire 8, which isn't terrible. Results of the miscast is I end up taking 2 wounds on the Skaz. It was a lot more than I wanted, but you know what? I got a lot of spells off using Thaumaturgy, and Skaz isn't dead. I'm winning. During the shooting phase, I think my Scratapult does some wounds to the handgunners, enough for a panic check, which they fail, and they flee directly away from it, and they bounce through the volley gun. Volley gun, I think, passes its panic check. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, would have just cowered. But the handgunners are on their way out, and that's a good thing. Over here, the trappers throw some stuff at the support unit of swordsmen, and I think kill 1 or 2 more, which is excellent. Nothing like rotten apples taking out your opponents. And then, because it's the best part of the game, we go into combat. Lord Tremendous is easily able to decimate many of the skirmishers, the little side unit he's got over there. State Militia, maybe? I can't remember exactly what they're called. In return, they are able to slip a wound through on Lord Tremendous, which actually offends me a little bit. They lose this combat. They break, as you can see, but they get away by an inch. I do take dangerous terrain for going through the ruins, and I pass my dangerous terrain, just in case you were wondering. Next, my Rock-a-Rock, the Shyhammer, the Hammers, they go after the Knights, and I don't do so well. My opponent makes many of his armor saves. Damn near all. I think I kill 1 or 2. I can't remember. It's bad. So yeah, with all of that, I think I win the combat still, but only by like 1. They stay right where they're at. They do not break. Over here, the Yetis, they're able to kill off, I think there's 12 models left in this unit. I lose 2 more Yetis for my trouble. I didn't roll quite as well this time, but I didn't have as many dice to throw this time. But yes, I think I win this combat. They're still stubborn, they stick, and I'm running out of Yetis. I need to get my Tusker Cav into these guys quick before my BSB and my Yetis die, which I don't want to have happen. With combat over, here's top of 3 after movement, and there's not much. The skirmishers that were fighting Lord Tremendous do not rally and continue fleeing. The handgunners do not rally and continue fleeing. The support unit and the parent unit of infantry on the right flank charge a good old boys, and I think only the support unit makes it. I think the parent unit fails. The other support unit of swordsmen, they rallied. I think Rufus may have tried. I think I may have charged them first with Rufus. They fled, and then I charged the engine, and it fled as well. And I tried to get the engine, and it got away. Not 100% on that, but that's what I'm going to go with. And other than that, there's really no other movement. Everything else he has is dead or in combat. There's a better picture of his support unit of swordsmen slamming into good old boys, and his parent unit of halberdiers failing a charge, which is huge. During the magic phase, I think he gets the prayer off where he gets to reroll failed to hits or failed to wounds, one of the two. I cannot remember which, but it's definitely one of them. He's rerolling something. It was Know Thy Enemy, which gives him +2 initiative and +2 weapon skill. And he did it with overwhelming power on 3 dice, and he rolled a 6 for his miscast, which I was hoping for more. The result of said miscast is his caster has 2 wounds on him. I believe he had a ward save, and he made 1, otherwise his caster would be dead. So, almost a good trade. At least his caster's as accident prone as Skaz. That made me feel pretty good. At the end of the magic phase, the Wrath of Gods comes down, taking out a handful of the support unit on the left, the swordsmen, taking out, I think, 4 or 5 of the halberdiers on the right, taking out a few of the swordsmen that are in the good old boys, I believe like 9 or 10, and destroying his volley gun. Wrath of the Gods, ladies and gentlemen. It's 9th Age's easy button, and I'm gonna press it. With shooting no longer being an actionable offense, we go over here to combat, and it does not go well. I end up in a challenge, my BSB with his general, I think, or a character, I can't remember which. I kill his character with my BSB. In return, I'm sorry, my 1 remaining Yeti might kill 1 or 2 of the greatswords. In return, they cut them into lunch meat. I think I might lose this combat, but it's not that big of a deal because I, make my break check, and that's all I needed. Now I can get the backup in on my turn and save my BSB. Too late for the Yetis, but they put up a hell of a fight. Mostly thanks to my opponent's dice. Over here, again, my opponent makes all of his saves, but in return, his dice are there. It's almost like they're random. We don't do anything to each other. I swing at him, he makes all his saves, he swings at me, and he fails to wound me. He just can't do it. So we're stuck here. Butterfly kisses and love. He's got a banner to my nothing. He wins this combat. I'm stubborn 9 and make my check. Over here, mostly thanks to my opponent's dice and a failed charge and the Wrath of God, the good old boys enjoy their light snack, killing every single one of the swordsmen without fail, and I think they took a wound or two for their trouble, if that. Yeah, that couldn't have gone any better for me if I had planned it. We go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and I make my move, to say the least. The Tusker Cav slam into the Great Swordsman trying to save my BSB. Lord Tremendous goes after the Skirmishers. I think they flee. No, Lord Tremendous ignores the Skirmishers. I move him up to try to get in the way of the support unit. I don't care if his skirmishers turn to charge me in the flank. That'd be great. But I want to either get a hold of his support unit there or whatever. So I kind of ignore the skirmishers. They're just not a threat. Rufus slams into the engine. At this point, my opponent's like, it's all going downhill anyway. The good old boys charge a big unit of halberdiers. They flee. I try to redirect into the support unit of swordsmen on the left there. Fail my charge, which is fine. The giant moves up 12 inches. The trappers I forget about, and the scraplings move up because they got no other targets. The scratapult and the scraplings on a hill don't do anything, and that's it for movement. There's been a picture of the Tusker Cav making redemption, I guess, trying to save the BSB, which would be nice. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a better picture of what happened. Lord Tremendous slammed into his wizard. I saw the opportunity, took it, and it capitalized on it. Rufus slammed into the arcane engine, and I still don't really have a clue what's going on. And there's been a picture of the good old boys failing a charge into the support unit because the parent unit ran away. During the magic phase, I get hand to heaven off on the swordsman unit, killing 2 or 3, not many, but just nickel and dime them where I can. The Scratapult shoots at the support unit as well, taking off 3 or 4 of them, thanks to its area tech like 5 or something like that. I think it was a partial shot, which, you know, I'll take, like I said, nickel and diamond where I can. They lost enough models that they had to take a panic check, and they ran away. My opponent was rolling high for leadership, low to wound, just the whole game. His dice have this weird, like, desperate love for me. And while I like it, I feel bad for my opponent because it's not that he's doing anything wrong, it's just that his dice are not on his team. We go into combat, and Lord Tremendous finishes off the wizard without hesitation. I am rolling for a headhunter. I know somebody's going to ask, are you rolling for a headhunter? Yes, I'm rolling ones for a headhunter, because maybe he wasn't hungry. Maybe hunting these heads were beneath him. I don't know, but I'm not healing any damn wounds. At least I killed the wizard. I choose to overrun, and I end up right there, which is a lot closer to my enemies, so that's a good thing. We go into combat over here, and I end up in a challenge with his prelate. I think it's a prelate, not 100% on that. I end up doing 2 wounds to him, 1 shy of actually being able to kill him. I decided to go with the challenge, mainly because I didn't want him to have all those extra attacks. So he takes a couple of wounds. I don't take anything. He's got a banner, possibly the war banner, I don't remember. I've got 2 wounds. Either it's a draw or I win combat. Either way, nobody goes anywhere, and we stay just like this. Rufus, that magnificent beast, he destroys the arcane engine and just kind of turns around, looks at the knights, and goes, hey guys, I'm going to come over there and ruin your day, because he's Rufus! And then over here, it's unbelievable how much damage these guys do. Only 2 Tusker Cav got in the base to base, and we murdered every last greatsword guy before they could attack. As you can see, the BSB lives, the Tusker Cav saved him, and we're good to go. I overrun with the Tusker Cav just in the off chance I could slam into the knights. Lucky for me, I just go far enough to take dangerous terrain. I actually pass my dangerous terrain, which was terrifying. And then my my Mammoth Hunter, Khan, turns to look at the fight to try to get in here somewhere. And you know what? He could take a break. He's done a lot this game, and I'm proud of him. With that over, here's top of 4 after movement, and honestly, I don't think there's a lot. The fleeing swordsman unit, the support unit, did not rally, fled off the table. The unit of halberdiers do rally, and they turn to face Lord Tremendous, and that's it for movement. There's no shooting or magic for him anymore, so we go straight into combat. And I'm not able to kill his character, but he's able to slip a wound through onto the hammerers. Wound and a banner to nothing. I lose this combat by 2. I'm stubborn 9 and stick it out. With that, we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and yeah, it gets pretty gnarly. Rufus slams into the flank of the Knights. That's the best he can do because I can't overlap. Lord Tremendous slams into the Halberdiers just to keep them there. The Good Old Boys, the Slave Giant, and the other unit of Scraplings move up to support Lord Tremendous. Skaz, the BSB, the Tusker Cav all move over to support the Rock and Rufus, and that's it for my movement. There's a better picture of Rufus slamming into the Knights. The Tusker Cav also tried to charge. Maybe not charge. They did something. It must have been charge, and they had to take dangerous terrain, and I failed one, so a Tusker Cav died. I passed their panic check, but they end up failing their charge or something. I don't remember exactly what happens, but a Tusker Cav is dead. They don't make it into combat, and that's the way it looks after everything is said and done. There's a better picture of Lord Tremendous slamming into Halberdiers, and that's just so that he can try to hold them off or hold them in place long enough to for everything else to run in there and basically table my opponent. No point in bothering with magic shooting. We go straight into combat, and the Shyhammer and Warhammer are able to take out the character. Rufus kills 2 guys, hitting him in the flank, so 3 wounds or so. I don't remember exactly how many I did in the challenge. I think it was at least 1. I know it was at least 1. But 3 wounds, charge, flank to banner. I win by 4. He was steadfast, but once again, he's failing his leadership. And he's steadfast because Rufus was in the forest. Rufus was disrupted, so I didn't get super flank. I didn't get to negate his ranks for steadfast or anything like that. They break, though, anyway, because my opponent's dice are on my team, and they run away from the hammers because he technically has a rank still while Rufus doesn't. And they get away. So, how's them apples? We go into combat over here, and Lord Tremendous pulverizes 5 Halberdiers, takes no damage in return. Halberdiers are steadfast, make their save, and Headhunter finally works. Lord Tremendous is full health. Not looking good for the Sonstil guys. I know what you're thinking. Where's the friend? This is just a friendly game. There is no mercy in this dojo. No. It's just not how we play. We go for the throat. He'd do it to me. He has done it to me. He will do it to me in the future. So this is just my chance. So anyway, here's top of 5 of movement. The Knights rally, and the other unit that he has is in combat. That's it for movement. We go straight into combat, and yeah, I flub pretty spectacularly. I don't mind telling you. I kill 1 guy. I think it was with a stomp, too. In return, he's not able to do anything back, but he's got a rank and a banner to nothing. I lose by 2. I make my check, and we move on. With this, we go over here to bottom of 5, and my Rock charges his Knights. They fail their terror check and flee off the table. It's like 4 or 5 terror checks that he's failed, or leadership checks that he's failed in this game. He's rolling boxcars, 11 and 12s for his leadership. There's nothing he can do about it. He's not doing anything wrong but rolling dice, I swear to you. But, you know, the Good Old Boys and the Slave Giant charge his Halberdiers. They both make it, and really, that's it for movement. It's insane. There's a better picture of my Rock scaring off the Knights because dice. And there's a better picture of the Good Old Boys and the Slave Giant making it into this combat, which should pretty much seal the deal. Again, we go straight into combat, and it's pretty brutal. I think he does a wound to Lord Tremendous. The Slave Giant and the Good Old Boys don't take anything. He loses 8 guys. I think he makes his check, though. I think he loses combat. He makes his break check. And the Slave Giant's out of combat, but that doesn't really matter. And we move on to the next. Here we are on top of 6 after movement, and there isn't any. The only thing that's left on the table is in combat with the Good Old Boys and Lord Tremendous. We go straight into the fight, and the Good Old Boys and Lord Tremendous are able to finish off every last Halberdier, tabling my opponent. I felt bad because this really wasn't anything I did. My opponent didn't make any mistakes. His dice were just god-awful. But better to rip off the Band-Aid fast than to do it slow and make it painful. So that's the end of combat. there it is. There's the end of the game. And as you can see, it went really, really well for the Ogres, mainly because my opponent's dice were on my team the entire game. There's no Empire of Sonstal guys left. And there's a lot of Ogres. So, yeah, we'll get to the recap right away, though, because, well, you know what's coming. And this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So as I'm sure you could tell, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I was able to table my opponent in the top of turn 6. Things really went my way in this game, not because my opponent made mistakes, but because Lady Luck decided to mouth kiss me, and that was nice of her. I ended up only losing my Yetis and Bow Wowzers, so yeah, let this be a lesson to you. If your dice have turned on you, you're gonna have trouble winning the game. As you saw, that went really, really well for me. The army just really came together, did everything it was supposed to do. Don't get me wrong, I'm well aware that my opponent's awful dice all game majorly contributed to this victory, but I'm really liking the speed and ferocity of the list, so I can't complain. Wildheart really does seem to be meshing with my playstyle, and I'm happy about that. I am still getting stopped by high armor, which is frustrating, but I don't want to change out Wildheart. I want to keep that, so I can't take Bruisers, I can't take Mercs, so I guess I'm kind of torn. I don't know exactly what to do about it, if there is anything I can do about that. So I guess currently I'm going to keep it the way it is and see if I can't make it work and make adjustments as the ideas come to me. Let me know what you think. So let me go ahead and go on record here real quick. I did not give Yeti enough credit. I've had multiple people tell me I have to try them harder, I have to try bigger ones, I have to try a full unit of them, and I always told them, no, you're crazy, blah, 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 they're garbage. I was wrong. My Yeti are a friggin' powerhouse, and I apologize for doubting you. I'm really enjoying this list, like I said. Everything feels useful in the army, with two exceptions. Right now, the Scratapult is incredibly lackluster to me. I just don't know what I want to replace it with. I mean, it's like 280 points. I suppose I could take another unit of Yetis. I don't know. It's just the Scratapult hasn't done anything. It did do close combat, but I'm taking it for its range capability. I don't know. I mean, yeah, next game, it'll hit a big brick and kill 12 models, and I'll be in love with it all over again, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep playing with it or not. I just don't know what to swap it out for. The Slave Giant's in the same category. It really hasn't done anything. I love the model, I love having monsters on the table, I enjoy its potential, but I just feel like the points could be better spent. So, I mean, I could drop both of them and put another unit of Yetis in, you know, full board, just let them go nuts. I could, what's it called? I could put another Bow Wowzer in there, maybe some more Trappers. I just don't know what I want to do with the points right now. I just got to figure that out. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll probably try this list with a couple more games and maybe make some changes afterwards. Let me know what you think if you got an idea in the comments section. But I don't want to get away from Wildheart, so don't suggest that. It's not going to happen. Despite everything that happened, though, this was still a great game. My opponent's amazing. You know how things go when things aren't going your way, especially as bad as it didn't go his way in this one. And the whole time, positive attitude, laughing, no salt. And that's the kind of opponent that you really want to go up against. When things are going their way, when things aren't going their way, there's still a joy to play against. And that's what this guy is. He has terrible dice. I really, really wish he would get new dice, but what can you do? And I'm definitely looking forward to our rematch. The guy's a joy to play against. Real quick, this is part of the report where I get to say thank you to everybody that supports me financially through Patreon, PayPal, and other means. I have many generous donationers, but some of them want to be anonymous, and I have to respect that, but these are the individuals that allow me to thank them properly, and I shall do so now. Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, Daniel Jolson, and Caillou Choi. Thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate it, and I hope I continue to be worthy of your patronage, because I enjoy the fact that you donate to me. I think that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Seriously, I appreciate it. And that'll do it. Battle Report 83 is officially in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But as always, guys and gals, thanks.